What's up everyone, my name is Alana and I've been living out of this 2006 Honda Accord for over 2 years now. And a question that I get asked a lot is, don't you need a van or an RV to live on the road? And so far my answer to this question has always been, no, you can totally just use the car that you already own and go have a great adventure. But recently I had an experience that may have changed my mind. On March 5th, I chopped my thumb with a hatchet, and it was nearly impossible to live out of my car with this injury, so I ended up spending about 8 weeks of the healing process at my boyfriend's stationary RV, which I've actually already made a video featuring his camper where I compared RV life to car life, so I'll link that video in the cards here. But once my thumb was healed up enough, I decided to hop on a flight and go visit one of my other friends who lives full-time in an RV, and explore a state that I've never explored in my own car camper, while showing you guys what it's like to live out of a proper RV for a week, and let you know whether or not I think a proper RV or camper van is necessary when considering life on the road full-time. And before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future adventures of my life on the road. We began our journey in Moab, Utah by visiting Mill Creek, which is a beautiful desert oasis just outside of town. We also hiked to the Corona Arch, which is arguably cooler than Arches National Park because I got to use my drone. Then we went to Looking Glass Rock with a group of rock climbers and watched some people much braver than I do a rope swing. Would you try this? The best part of this was, we had our whole house with us, and this was BLM land, so we just slept in the parking lot. The next morning, we headed over to Donnelly Canyon with the same group of people. My friend's RV couldn't make it to the group's planned campsite for the night, however, because there were 2 river crossings, but luckily one of our new friends came back and gave us a lift.
Okay, let's get stoked to go 3 days out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
My friend Bailey, who owns the RV, actually made it to the top of a climb for her very first time this day, but me and my thumb stayed on the ground. I feel like ever since my thumb injury, I've just been terrified of injuring myself again, both because of the financial burden that comes with it, but also the mental burden that came with it, and so that's something that I've really been having to work through recently. After our day of climbing, we started our drive towards Salt Lake City, stopping at Fifth Water Hot Springs. Were they pretty? Yeah. Was it packed? Yes. Was there actual human feces and toilet paper underneath a rock on the riverbank just upstream from the hot springs? Also yes. If you're gonna go outside, you must know how to leave no trace, people. Do your business in a hole far away from running water. Thank you. While this place was very beautiful, I wouldn't recommend coming here on a Sunday afternoon in the summertime. Maybe go at sunrise in the middle of the week during the school year. That night, we ended up with one of the most epic camp spots of the entire trip, so of course I had to whip out my new drone. Are you interested in car camping with a group of nomads like this? How did I know? Crazy guess. But in 2024, I started Grounded Retreats with the intention of bringing grounded, down-to-earth travelers together for car camping, hiking, relaxing, yoga, and so much more. So if you want to be a part of our 2025 events, I've created a survey down in the description. If you could fill it out and let us know where and when you would like to attend our 2025 events, that would be greatly appreciated. And I also have an option on there for a group caravan. Similar to what I was doing in this video where everybody had their individual rig and we went to different places and camped out together, I think that would be a really cool idea to do as a retreat. And I'm also playing around with the idea of working with a van rental company to get those of you who don't have rigs yet but are curious about the lifestyle into the caravan as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, please fill out the survey down in the description and let me know so that I don't spend hours and hours and hours planning a retreat that nobody wants to go to. Okay? Thank you. Now, is an RV or camper van necessary when living on the road full time? Let's start with the positives. An RV is literally a house on wheels. You can have so many creature comforts like running water, a full kitchen and bathroom, a full-sized bed, space for guests, temperature control, like heating and air conditioning, and even the possibility of having a furry travel companion. Meet Jade. Also, the bigger your vehicle, the more storage space you have to bring extra gear that might not be considered essential but could be a fun addition to your road trip. There's also nothing quite like getting to see all of the beautiful sceneries of nature out your house windows, not just your windshield. But I think my favorite thing about having a proper camping rig like this is the fact that you can park up at your spot and not have to get out of the vehicle in order to cook dinner. That is something that I'm not used to living in such a tiny car, and that was quite the luxury in this RV. So if you're wanting to live life on the road full time without giving up your creature comforts, then an RV is the obvious choice. Those were the pros, now for the cons. Some surface level cons could be the poor gas mileage. I mean, we spent more on gas in 1 week than I spend on gas for my Honda Accord in a month. So that was fun. And then also having a larger vehicle means that sometimes finding parking in parking lots is a little bit complicated or tricky. And sometimes roads have restrictions, like certain height and length vehicles cannot drive on them, so that makes some really cool destinations off limits. The reality is, though, whatever you choose to live in, whether it's a house, an RV, a camper van, a truck camper, or a simple car camper, it won't magically solve all of your problems in life. If I'm being honest, these past 3 months since my injury have been some of the darkest times in my life, and simply moving into a bigger vehicle wasn't going to magically make my depression go away. I think a lot of people get caught up in the "I'll be happier when" syndrome, thinking that their mood will change once they get the perfect rig or the perfect partner or the perfect job or whatever it is, and I'm definitely guilty of this as well. After living out of my boyfriend's stationary RV and traveling around Utah in my friend's RV, I actually placed an offer on a van. And I had an appointment with a mechanic scheduled to go get it checked out by a professional, and I had the cash in hand and everything. But the seller sold the van the day before I was scheduled to arrive back in Arizona. And at first I was crushed. How could she? I needed that van in order to get myself out of this dark place that I was in. But after some time and reflecting, after hosting my very first yoga retreat through Grounded Retreats, shameless plug, I realized that this van wasn't meant to be because not having the perfect rig was not the root cause of my depression. I realize now that what was causing my depression was simply a lack of a self-care routine, not the rig that I was choosing to live out of. Now, is it easier to maintain a self-care routine while living in an RV or a camper van because it's more similar to living in a house? Maybe. But you can also have a terrible self-care routine while living in a house, no? So I think you can establish a self-care routine regardless of what you live in or your rig with a little bit of time and self-discipline. I plan to share more about how I'm re-establishing routines while living life on the road in an upcoming video, but for now, I'll leave you with this. While my mind may not have been changed completely, I do recognize how having an RV or a camper van to live out of might give someone a better sense of stability while living this crazy, unpredictable life, and give them a better shot at establishing routines and making this lifestyle sustainable for them. Because at the end of the day, if you're wanting to do this full time for a long time, you have to do what's most sustainable for you. However, I still don't think you need a van or an RV to live life on the road. I just think you need the right amount of self-awareness and self-discipline to establish these self-care routines and take care of yourself regardless of your rig, and you, my friend, can have the adventure of a lifetime.
Look at that color.
If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate you, and let me know down in the comments, what does your self-care routine look like lately? How are you doing? If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!